Welcome to the Pure Hustle Podcast Experience.
This is
I'm
Orlando.
Mike.
See, you threw me. I knew you were gonna throw me off. So, welcome to another Monday mini-sode. I'm gonna say Mike's parts right now. If you ever want to catch us on long form, we do drop a podcast every Wednesday. We have themed episodes where we focus on one item, and then we share hustle of the week from our listeners. And we also have update episodes where Mike and I document what we go through as resellers, and also we discuss reseller topics. So if you haven't yet checked out our podcast, jump on over to the long form. You can subscribe on YouTube, or you check us out on Spotify, on Apple, or all the other channels. But on Mondays, we do mini-sodes. So Mike, do you know what this episode is about?
No, I mentioned the Pure Hustle Podcast Experience because you threw up some clips for me in the drive, and I just uploaded them. And I see it looks like we got some Joe Rogan clips here.
I see.
So
now.
that's why it was the Pure Hustle Podcast Experience. I almost said it was the Joe Rogan Experience, but that would be copyright, and we'd probably get in trouble for that. We're almost as big as Joe Rogan. We haven't quite made it that far, but we're getting there. So what are we talking about today?
So I came across this video. I listen to Joe Rogan every once in a while, and this individual is Michael Easter. He's a writer. He writes about health and fitness, and he studies a lot of different things. But I found his discussion with these casino. I don't know if they're creators, scientists. I don't know what their exact title is, but but what they do is they're behind the science of slot machines. And when I heard him talking about this, I was wondering, is eBay a slot machine? Like, does eBay manipulate us like we're going to the casino?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single app and every single buying thing does this to an extent. But I'm definitely interested to kind of see what some of the specific kind of similarities are between the science behind the dopamine hits and all of that of slot machines, kind of that addiction and those rushes and all of those, and how eBay is doing that. So yeah, I'm interested in making those connections. But for sure, and you really want to talk about slot machines. Somebody really nailed it when I was talking about Temu. They're like, it felt like being on a game show. Like Temu is like, it really does feel like you're playing a game show when you're shopping on that.
It's crazy. All right, so roll that first clip and I'll get us started here.
Act betting. Now, when I'm there, I meet with, to bring it back to slot machines, I meet with a guy who designs slot machines. So the reason that these things are so entrancing to people, it tracks back to this behavior loop that I call the scarcity loop. And this is basically a looping behavior that when people do it, they tend to get hooked on it very easy.
All right. Do you find that to be true with eBay?
Okay, I mean, this clip itself didn't define what the scarcity loop is.
Well, that's for after. I just wanted to have this short discussion here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with eBay.
This.
Yeah, it's interesting with eBay. I'm not 100% sure. So as a seller, are you kind of looking at this as more of, are they trying to hook sellers or are they trying to hook buyers?
I would say hook sellers. Maybe
okay,
both, but I can only speak on the seller experience.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do think they're trying to do both. So when you first start out on eBay, and it wasn't that long ago for me now, 5 years or so, I remember you start out and they give you very strict limitations. Like you can list 20 items, and you can list, there's very specific restrictions on your system. And within you list something, and a sale comes through relatively quickly, and I feel like part of that is that they're pushing that. And then there's an increase. There's an increase. Like now you can sell 50 items. We're going to allow you to do 50 items, and you get like 50 free items. Like normally you have to pay, 25 cents per listing or whatever the listing fee is, but we're going to give you an additional 100 free listings. And then you sell a couple more things, and they're like, because you've done so good on these sales, like here's more. And so like you feel like you're earning something. Like it's a scarce thing, like free listings, and all of a sudden they're giving them to you, so you better use them. Like you have, for 1 week, you have free listings you can list, so you better list some things. And yeah, it definitely, I can see kind of a feedback of that idea of almost scarcity of like, I only have a limited time for these free listings, so I might as well get these 100 items listed, and before you know it, you're an eBay seller.
No, that's how it goes. I mean, when I started this with 3 or 4 of my friends, I was the one that ended up hooked. And maybe because, I'm easily susceptible to, I don't know, manipulation. But it was like, you get that first cha-ching. You're like, whoa, I turned something from $2 to $30. All right. So play this next clip's going to go more in depth and we'll be able to get more into it here. This is going to be the crutch of it.
It's got opportunity, unpredictable rewards,
pretty wild.
and quick repeatability. So opportunity, you have an opportunity to get something of value. So in the case of a slot machine, it's money, right? 2, unpredictable rewards. You know you're going to get the thing of value if you continue the behavior, but you don't know when, and you don't know how valuable it's going to be. So with a slot machine game, when those reels are spinning, you could win nothing. You could basically lose your money. You could win a couple dollars, or you could win a life-changing amount of money. There's a fantastic range of things that could happen. And then 3, quick repeatability. You can immediately repeat the behavior. So with slot machines,
buy, ship, repeat.
The average player plays about 16 games a minute. And that's different from all other habits. Like most habits, you don't immediately repeat them. Now, the reason that people are so interested in this, companies, casinos, is because this sort of 3-part system I just laid out, it can get people to repeat a lot of other behaviors too. So it's in social media, it's in sports gambling, it's in dating apps. Even companies like gig work economy companies are using it to get people to work longer hours.
eBay.
It's being leveraged by the financial industry in a lot of personal finance apps, and on and on and on. It's become, it's been embedded in so many of the products, even institutions that influence people's lives, because it is so captivating to us. We tend to get hooked on this 3-part system.
Yeah. And so when you're talking about like gig economy stuff, like you're talking about like Uber and things along those lines.
Yeah, that's good. I definitely see where he's going. I think we can all draw connections with like how it's like social media, or I've never been on a dating app, but I would imagine, like when you hear people talk about swiping and all of that, oh, you got to match. Like I could see how there's the unpredictability. What am I going to get next? But there is going to be some reward. There's going to be some match I'm going to get, or there's going to be some interesting reel I'm going to watch, or TikTok, or whatever it is. So I do see those 3 things being components. Along with the idea of the repeatability. I like that as well, because there's certain things, like the things that are most meaningful in life. Like, if you're trying to build wealth, you're trying to change your health, you're trying to, get fit, you're trying to earn a degree, you're trying to learn a new skill, like become a musician. These things take a lot of time, and more repetition in a short amount of time isn't going to necessarily help. Like playing a piano 10 minutes a day for a year is not less good. It's not going to be, it's actually probably way better for you than like, I'm going to sit down and play the piano for 24 hours straight. Like you're not going to, you don't get any more benefit from that. But things like something like eBay or a gig economy thing where you can repeat the behavior where, if I just list a few more things, if I list a few more things, I'm going to go out. You can list more frequently, and that is going to up the chances of sales and stuff. And so I could definitely see that being something that's more likely to create a habit. And don't get me wrong, like I think reselling is great. I think it's a great tool for a lot of people to get out of debt, get some freedom. But yeah, I've talked to a lot of resellers, even people who are friends of ours, even us at times, and it's like, at what point is this, like, it's work, so it's fine, it's a good outlet, but it's almost like it's an addiction sometimes. Like I've got a source. Mm-hmm. I've got to, even if you're not listing, it's almost like the sourcing itself can become the addiction.
Oh, 100%. And I do wonder if the algorithm plays a role, right? Obviously it does, but I've had it where, I'm kind of like, I'm done with eBay. Like I have no sales. I don't care. I'm going to go like on a trip with my kids. And while I'm on the road, cha-ching, 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 I'm like, what? What? I don't pay attention to eBay, and eBay's trying to call me back because the social media apps do that. I forget what that special was. There's
the siren song of eBay. Come back.
Yes, but there actually was a documentary on Netflix. I forget, it was about social media and how, like, if you don't pay attention, it'll send you like someone has posted or encourage someone to post, and so you're hooked back in, and it knows exactly what to make you want to get back. It knows the person. It knows the message.
Yep.
It actually
and emails
reads you.
and stuff like it knows like if you're using something like Facebook consistently, you're probably not getting any emails about Facebook. You're getting your Facebook notifications. I almost never use Facebook. Occasionally, like I'll check if somebody posted something, family member. But yeah, it's like, okay, I haven't been on Facebook forever. I check one post because my mom posted something about my sister on Facebook or my brother or something like that. And next, yeah, you're right. I'm getting emails about Facebook, emails like so-and-so. And you're right. Like it knows who, like, oh, I haven't heard from that person in a while. Or I used to go on that person's page quite a bit and I'm getting an email that they liked something. And it's like, why am I getting an email about this? And you're right. Like they're trying to suck you back in. And yeah, I'm sure there is something about that with eBay. And again, they probably don't want to suck necessarily everybody in at all times. Yeah. But when we talk about the algorithm, when it comes to, hey, I haven't had sales in a while, but I haven't listed anything. Hey, I listed 10 things today. All of a sudden sales are coming in. They recognize you're like, oh, we've got some movement. Now's the time. Like we talk about with striking when the iron's hot, when it comes to somebody's heavy browsing on your item, send the offer as soon as you have the opportunity. eBay's probably doing the same thing. Hey, somebody's moving on eBay. They haven't been active on eBay for a while. Let's get them rolling again. So next thing you know, they're in it. They're listing and their store starts to really move and we make money on them.
I 1000% believe that. Now, we are going to have a conspiracy episode at the end of October, but I'm going to give us a short preview. One of the conspiracies is that whenever there's an eBay event and you are registered and you attend, your sales go up. And I will tell you, I'm not the only one, but even through eBay Open this last week, sales were incredible. From the moment eBay Open started all the way through eBay, sales were incredible. When I went to the eBay ads event a month ago, biggest sale day that I had all summer was the evening that I was at the event. And I truly know this again, it's conspiracy. This is why it's a conspiracy episode. But I think there's something to be said. Actually, there were people that were veteran resellers. I don't know if you went out that in 2019. You didn't go out with. I went out like super late with a bunch of resellers that had been doing eBay for a while, and they told me, "Hey, Orlando, just to let you know, like expect some boost in sales because eBay knows you're here, and they don't want to have a whole eBay event and all the big sellers are here and they're talking about slow sales. They're gonna push it." And I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying it's out there. All right, let's play this next clip.
All right.
Add to that.
You're talking about like Uber,
like
things along those lines.
Driving for Uber.
And so how do they use that?
So things like unpredictable rewards get put up in front of a driver to get them to drive into an area of town that Uber might want them to be in. There's also
unpredictable rewards. What do you?
Yeah, so like you might get say, oh, if you drive here, like your whatever you'll make X amount more money. Right? And it sort of pops up unpredictably.
Oh, so they'll incentivize you that they offer you more money to go to a different part of town?
Yeah, or dropping in cues that saying like, hey, this is where you're going to make more money today, type of thing.
Oh.
If you think about it in terms of something like social media, it's like the opportunity is to get, say, status or likes or whatever it is, right? And then, say, a person posts, and then the rewards become totally unpredictable. Right? You might get 2 likes, which is like, oh, that wasn't great. Or you might get hundreds of likes, which is like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's the same exact architecture as a slot machine. And then you check and recheck. You're repeating the behavior all day.
Yeah. You know what I think about when I hear him say this? I think about promoted listings. Because promoted listings does this thing like, hey, this is your sales now. But if you do promoted listings, this is what your sales could be. And that's an unknown. Just like the Uber driver that's told, hey, if you go into this area that's unknown, you may be able to make this amount of money. It's the same. To me, it looks like the same thing. Am I off?
No, I mean, I think you're right with that. I think it is an aspect of just, and I'm trying to think because I didn't see any of these clips before. And I'm trying to think of specific ways that eBay does this. I mean, you're probably right with the advertisements. I feel like even things like when they send you the ability to send offers, right? Because what is considered heavy browsing? I feel like maybe there's a specific threshold that it doesn't change ever. Or maybe it's like, hey, we got to get this person moving again. One person has looked at their item. Let's get some like so we could send them some emails, say like, you can send offers on these items, because then they want you like on the app sending the offers. Maybe those offers sell, maybe they don't, but now you're on the app. And so maybe they have ways of like kind of getting you back on the app and then getting you, oh, I can send an offer on this, just so that you're moving items, you're selling things, you're back on the platform. Again, it's almost like the siren song, you know, like, ooh, check. It's like they dangle a little like possible reward.
Yeah, you have like
come
slow
get this.
sales.
Come get this. Yeah.
And
so
then
I think it's, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because again, here's the way I look at it. Gambling versus hustling and making money on eBay. I'd much rather be addicted to hustling and making money on eBay. Can it become unhealthy? I'm sure it can. Anything can become unhealthy. I mean, there's people who are like fitness gurus who become unhealthy because they're too obsessed. There's people who are hustlers who are working so much that they've just given up their entire life to make money, and it ended up being bad. But I feel like it's much harder to err on the side of I've worked too hard, I was addicted to work, than it is to err on the side of I got addicted to laziness. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I'd much rather be addicted to selling on eBay than addicted to scrolling through TikTok. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And again, I don't think they're gonna. We've talked about the algorithm and do they hurt us, and do they ever shadow ban stores, and do they? I'm sure there's times when there's issues with eBay, and there may be times when you're, I don't want to say being punished, but you've got bad metrics, and so it's going to reflect on you getting lower views and whatnot. But they want to get people active. And if you're an active seller and you're selling things, like, they want to keep you hooked. They don't want to lose you. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Get new people in, great. And if you stay active, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, you're too active, so we're not going to. Yeah. It's like the people gambling at casinos, the people who are gambling so much that they get like here, let's take you into this special room and we'll give you free drinks. We'll give you, if that's how eBay is, like, hey, you're selling so much, let us give you.
You mean eBay Open? I'm just playing.
Right. Just playing. So, but anyways,
eBay, invite us. So no, but here's the deal. I think the practical aspect of it is, it's clear that with any of these, right, whether it be the slot machine, whether it be Uber, whether it be eBay, is they all like activity, and they will reward activity. And so with eBay, it behooves you to stay consistent, to keep listing the things we talk about all the time, to establish sales, to do promoted listings, to do these things to keep yourself profitable. Because I do think the algorithm plays to this, but I think you can also yourself, not saying you figure out the algorithm, but you realize that this is important. And if it's important, then you play the game and you keep the profit. And so with that being said, hopefully you found this episode helpful to you, or at least entertaining to watch. I think this was more of like, hey, just enjoy this mini-sode. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.